What up, everybody? Blaze One Sports, and today we're going to talk about what's next for Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is 35 years old, heavyweight from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 6'7", 238, the Alabama Slammer. Some say he's got the heaviest punch that we've seen in the heavyweight division. Got the most knockouts. He's got a lot of knockouts. But unfortunately, he's coming off a loss, two losses to Tyson Fury. He looked unstoppable, and some people were trying to call him the greatest heavyweight of all time, or up there with the greatest heavyweights, because his undefeated streak he was on. And then, in my opinion, when he met Tyson Fury, he got exposed. Deontay Wilder, I never followed boxing that closely, so I didn't watch his earlier fights. I seen some of his later fights, but then when I seen him fight Fury, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy doesn't know how to box, because in the first fight he had like no foot movement. All he had was punching power, and Fury was running around looking like Ali out there, and with his movements and his jabs, and totally made Wilder look like an amateur. So if Fury wasn't in the heavyweight division, Wilder would probably still be undefeated, and he would be looked at as the GOAT. Now Wilder, he has punching power, and that's pretty much it. He's got that strong right hand, and then after that, he's just probably like an average boxer. He got into the game late, but some people are saying he might retire. Others are saying not. I hope he doesn't retire, because his fights are exciting. This last Tyson Fury fight was really exciting, an instant classic. Not one of the greatest fights of all time, like people are saying, but it was a really good fight. So Deontay Wilder still has, in my opinion, a couple good fights left in him. I would even like to see him everyone's doing crossover fights now. JDS, Junior Dos Santos, is a former, he's got a couple boxing matches under his belt, and I think he's boxing right now. That would be a good fight to see, Deontay Wilder versus JDS. But something like that probably won't happen. But a crossover fight like that would be exciting for Wilder. I don't really want to see him rematch Ortiz or Brazil. The main fight I want to see Wilder in, which would be an exciting, good fight, would be Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. Both of them have 2 losses. Both of them coming off a loss. Joshua is technical though, like Fury, so he could probably piece up Wilder like Fury did. But Joshua has that glass chin, and it can be touched, and Wilder's got that one punch power. So I could see the fight going either way. I think it would be an exciting fight. Wilder can knock out Anthony Joshua easily, or Anthony Joshua could dance around, piecing him up with the jab and the power, the power jab and uppercuts like Tyson Fury did. Same way. The main fight I want to see is Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. That'd be a good fight, but that's another video for another day. Deontay Wilder's next fight, what should happen is Tyson Fury should fight Usyk to unify the belts, and Wilder should fight Joshua. That would be perfect. Both of them coming off 2 losses. Joshua's not coming off 2 losses, but they're both coming off 2 losses. They both have 2 losses. They were both considered the kings of the heavyweight division a couple years ago, before Fury came in and ruined all that. So Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder is the fight to make. That's what should be next for Wilder. He shouldn't retire. He's still got some good fights left in him. Even if he does fight Joshua and loses, I would still like to see him in a couple other fights. There's a couple crossover fights that I would like to see him in. I'd like to see him rematch Charlie Zelenoff. So what do you guys think? What's next for Deontay Wilder? He should not retire. But those last 2 fights, he took a lot of damage from Fury. And if I'm a family member of his or someone in his corner, I would have to talk to him about that. Even though he doesn't want to listen, because he probably wants to die in the ring. So he wanted to go out on the shield in the last fight, so that mentality that he has, that's probably how he wants to go out. So Deontay Wilder still has a bunch of fights left in him, in my opinion. There's a couple crossover fights if he wants them. Junior Dos Santos, somebody else. He's a power puncher. He's got that one touch. Any time in the fight, if he lands that right, it could end it. But Deontay Wilder's reign at the top is over. I don't see him competing for another belt unless he wins his next 3 or 4 fights, and Tyson Fury's not there. Because I don't think he can fight Tyson Fury again. It was an exciting fight, but he's getting his ass whooped all 3 fights to where it looked like he almost could have died that second fight. And then this third fight, he took a lot of unnecessary damage. So Deontay Wilder, maybe Andy Ruiz, but I think Andy Ruiz Jr. would sleep Wilder because he's too technical and he's got the power. So what's next for Wilder? Crossover fight with someone like JDS. The main fight I want to see, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. That fight makes a lot of sense. Hopefully that fight happens, and I think it will happen. Other than that, Wilder could fight any cans in the heavyweight division, anyone in the top 10, two or three more wins, and Fury's not the champ. He could probably fight for another belt. But other than that, what do you guys think? Thoughts, comments, questions, opinions in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Blaze One Sports. What's next for Deontay Wilder?